Hey guys, back with another video. I really want to talk about how it does not take much time to really change your life. I'm not talking a habit, I'm talking actually start seeing synchronicities and proof that the things that you're doing are working, right? There's a law of 100. There's so many laws that you guys can look up and find, and lots of people talk about all this kind of stuff, but the law of 100 states that if you work on one discipline for 100 hours a year, which if you break that down is 18 minutes a day, at the end of the year you'll be better than 95% of the people in the world in that one discipline, right? I mean, just let that sink in. This year's going to come and go anyways, so it doesn't really matter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down for you. There's 168 hours in a year, or in a week. 168 hours in 1 week. And I'm just going to be cautious and say that you sleep for 10 hours a day. So there's 70 hours, and you work for, let's just say 50 hours. So there's 120 hours. You're left with 48 hours. 48 hours. What are you doing? There's no excuse how you wouldn't just be dominating in an extremely short period of time, right? To even make it easier, let's say you only have 40 hours. Let's say you have to drive 2 hours to and from work and you work 50 hours. So let's just say 40 hours for easy math, right? The law of 100 states if you do one discipline for 18 minutes a day over 365 days, you're going to be in the top 95%, better than 95% of everyone in the world in that one discipline. Well, can you double that? Can you triple that? If you don't have 18 minutes a day for yourself, you don't have a life. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but that's insanity, right? You're going to start, I want you to become aware of how much time you're wasting, how much time you're dinking around, how much time you're sitting around, how much time you're just not doing anything productive, right? You can't DM me and ask to change your life if you're not going to take action on anything, right? I did a video on this. This is why no one's doing anything, because it's easier not to do anything. Right? And I haven't figured out a way how to crack that yet, right? Doing nothing and staying in your habit in the safe zone is as easy as it gets. And so you just are not willing to do anything differently until you have a traumatic experience. And then some of you will take action. But until then, I'm just going to keep throwing these numbers out and keep making you guys very aware of what can really happen in a year. Now you start compounding that at 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, it's, right? You're up there doing what the big boys are doing, running companies. And I also want you to become aware that they're extremely productive people, right? Your whole personality is going to be totally different. My personality from a year ago or 2 years ago is every year is different. I keep gaining more of an understanding, and I keep putting in more time, and I keep giving more effort, right? So I can sit here and tell you that 18 minutes a day, sure, that might have been the first little bit in the very, very, very beginning, but eventually you're doing an hour, right? And I suggest starting with an hour right from the beginning, right? So you're already at the end of the year, you already know, it doesn't matter. You already know you're going to be in the top 5%, right? Now, if you can make that 18 minutes into 2 or 3 hours a day, right? This is why I want you to listen to the videos everywhere you go in your car. Right? You're going to turn your car into a university. Pretty soon you're going to be getting that 3 or 4 hours of wonderful information that'll make you an expert in whatever it is that you're trying to be an expert in. Right? There is no competition. None. 330 million people. You do the math. 3%. Right? There's plenty of space for everyone to make as much as you want, live the kind of life you want, have the kind of friends you want. Like, there's no, how big a house do you want? How much property do you want? Right? You can create whatever you want. You got to put the time in, which is going to come and go anyways, right? We're on day 83, and some of you are going to start, when I say that, understanding, oh man, I've kind of haven't really been doing a lot. And that's fine. I just want you to be aware I have been. Things are really happening for me because I don't waste as much time, or I try not to, try to be productive with as much time as I can, because I know that's what brings things into my life, right? I make a committed decision. I don't give myself an exit strategy, right? Some people say I burn the boat. Some people say burn the bridges. So you don't have an exit strategy, right? You can't make a committed decision on something you're serious about and leave yourself an out, right? Just that alone will put you in the top 3%, right? You make a huge committed decision on what you're going to do, right? But it takes time to figure that one thing out. And something that might help you is if you write out 10 or 15 things and you're looking at them and you're not quite sure, whichever one gives you the most joy and enthusiasm, even if it's just a little bit more than the others, that's the one. That's the one you want to circle, highlight, whatever it is. That's the one you want to make your mark and your goal. Set that star out there and you're just heading towards that star. And you're willing to do whatever it takes to get to that star. There is no secret. There is principles and disciplines. This is how everyone does everything, right? I've done numerous videos on walking through the terror barrier when you start a new job, and walking through the terror barrier. We all have to do it. You're constantly doing it. And the thing that's and I've said it before and I'll say it again, you're not trying to get to this. Once you become more aware and you start doing a lot of this, it's not the goal. Things flip. In the beginning, it's the goal, right? You think if I had $1 million, my whole life would change. I'd be financially free. I wouldn't have all the stress and worry. And then as you start progressing and start learning, you understand it's not the money at all. It's how you feel, right? And what you had to do, how much growth you had to do to get to that. Because you can't do it as the personality you are right now, or you'd already be doing it, right? So now it becomes a game of how do I want to be? I'm going to set these ginormous goals because I know I'm going to have to grow exponentially to get there, right? You're a totally different person. You're organized, you're orderly, you don't waste time, you're very productive. You're like successful people. People that are successful are not, most people that are successful are not living like we are. You might think they are because they're sitting in a podcast and they're all relaxed and chilled, but what you're unaware is they're doing 15 of those in that one day. 18 hours of that one day is all podcasts because they're only going to give up one day. So they schedule them all and do them all in one day because their time is extremely valuable. That's the part I want you to understand. When someone's creating music, they might be jamming for 18 hours a day while they're making an album for months on end. They don't meet up for 15 minutes and dink around on their instruments and then leave, right? They made a committed decision. We're going to make an album. What does that look like? Well, their whole however long is blocked out, and that's all they do every day, all day, right? And that's how it becomes as you start becoming a goal achiever, is you start having the goal, and all you want to do is be working towards that goal, which brings a whole other host of issues with friends and family, because you're not sitting around wanting to watch 6 episodes of one Netflix documentary. You don't binge out anymore, right? I've had other videos on that, and I'll make some more too, because that's tough in the beginning, right? So, rule of 100, look it up, test me. I always want you guys testing me. Find it, read all about it, right? This is how you change your paradigm. You start replacing those beliefs with truth. So, have a good day. Keep smiling. Thanks, guys. Bye.